Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome back to the Muslim Career Guide with your host Ilya Qayyum. Today I am joined with Sister Sidra. Jazakallah so much for joining me today.
Waiyakum, Jazakallah khair for hosting me.
Yeah, so do you want to give me a brief introduction of who you are and what you do and just all of that fun stuff?
For sure. So my name is Sidra Anjum. I'm in grade 10. I go to St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic Secondary School in Oakville, and I am the founder of the organization Youth Against Conflict. And our main goal is to amplify the pleas of the oppressed and to use our voices for the good and for the betterment of society.
Oh, mashallah, that's amazing. I think, especially like youth, we are very passionate about so many issues and, creating a solution, but sometimes that can be harder. How do we do it? We're not in adults, we're not like in politics or whatever. So, how do we create these solutions? So, it's so cool that you have this organization, mashallah. But before we do jump into, I guess, the actual interview, I like to do rapid fire questions with my guests. So, just really quick, silly questions that you can give me your most present answer.
Got it.
Perfect. So, do you like texting or calling?
Calling.
Favorite emoji?
The heart one.
Yeah, yeah, the hard eyes. Favorite
Yes.
book?
Uh, I don't read, but Dr. Seuss books.
Honestly, those are good. Those are good. Favorite recent purchase?
Oh, MacBook.
Ooh, nice. Favorite movie?
Shrek.
Ooh, and then the last one is what's one thing that you don't understand?
Sorry?
What's one thing that you don't understand?
Nothing. Oh, one thing I don't oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Science.
Science. Yeah, I mean, that's a common one that we get, science and math.
Yes.
Yeah. So we could jump straight into the interview. So my first question is, how did you decide to start Youth Against Conflict?
So as a young child, huge exposure to politicians, to the Muslim community, because they're community members, right? So I usually get to meet so many people. And as a child, I've learned so much, like at such a young age about, the issues going around in the community. It's really just natural for me to go like, you know what, we need to make this change. And as a youth, I know that our voices are really, really important because these are the future voices. So I feel like we need to take advantage of these voices and use them to go spread awareness on things that, to educate people, to raise awareness for the good of our future.
Sorry, I is working right now.
No worries. No worries. Oh my God, internet.
Yeah. Okay. So that's really cool. And why did you decide that you wanted to start? Sorry. Why did you decide you wanted to start Youth Against the Conflict?
I feel like it's now time that we get together and start actually thinking collectively about what we want to do as a future. And I feel like if we have things organized, then it would be easier for us to, go and talk about our concerns and voice our problems. So I
Mhm.
feel like this organization gives a platform to youth to express their perspectives, to express their views, so that we're able to combat whatever concerns and whatever problems we have in unity.
Exactly, and like that's so important. Again, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes youth can be confused how we can use our voices, but it's important that we have our input because and that's important. We're part of society, so that's extremely important. And why do you think the awareness of conflicts and issues are especially important amongst like youth and teens?
So, in a country like Canada, we are very privileged to have our voices be heard.
Right.
Our population is so small that our voices have a value and they are valued. Why? Which is why I believe that we need to use this privilege and use it for others and use it to stand up for other people whose voices won't be as valued in other places. And youth, we have a lot, we have a responsibility because we're so privileged to live in such a safe society, to live in a society where we can learn and we are learning day to day about day-to-day things, which is why I think this whole like thing, this whole like movement is really good to help to like help the momentum, like for example in things like Palestine and like Islamophobia and things like that, and it's there to like only grow it with the voice of the youth.
Right, exactly. And how do you choose a specific topic and how do you choose how long you want to kind of talk about it and almost like campaign for it? Or do you think you choose a specific issue and continue on with it consistently?
Yes, so that's a good question. One thing there to know is that honestly, I don't believe in campaigning or there's a set time for set things. Yes,
Mhm.
there is a set time for set things, but for an ongoing movement, you need to continue to put pressure and you need to continue to, voice it out until it's solved. Like, for example, the things that are happening in Palestine, I think after a certain time, it just stopped. And I don't think it needs to stop. I think it needs to keep on going in other things. Like, let's say we're talking about oppression in general. We need to remind people of things that are happening in other places, which is why we I don't choose things. For now I'm just going by with what's happening, and slowly as I get time I will continue to incorporate other things, like other like crises and other like problems that are happening around me and around the world.
Right, like I know like the Palestinian oppression has been happening for years and years, but recently the conversation started to pick up, and I saw even on your Instagram page that you've started, I guess, li- creating more conversation with Palestine. That's extremely important and extremely to continue, because you're right. Like I've seen it too. Like Instagram is dying down, the news is like dying down on the whole like stories itself. So it's important that oppression isn't like for us. It's not just like a one-time thing. Talk about it, we're done. And the oppression is going, so you got to talk about it consistently.
Exactly.
And you, Masha, you've already like planned Youth Against Conflict has planned a protest for Palestine. Like, what is the process? At least for you, your first time of planning a protest.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it wasn't easy. I mean, I wouldn't say it was easy.
Yeah.
It was time consuming, but it's definitely worth it because honestly, there are children, innocent people dying in another country. And this is the least that we can do to like, raise our voices for them because they're like literally hopeless there, and we're like us people living in a Western society are like the only hopes for them for to solve their conflict. So I think for that, the protest planning, honestly, we had to pick a spot and then we had to advertise it, like basically spread the word. That was probably the most consistent
Right.
thing that I had to do. But alhamdulillah, with the help of my parents and with the help of like the town and the police and everything, we were able to really manage it really well. And I'm really glad for all the people that came out in support that day too, because without them, nothing would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, Masha is amazing. You've got an amazing support system going there. And like, were you worried that the turnout wouldn't be as big as you would want it to be, or even just people coming out to protest with you? Oh,
Okay, okay, we're back. Sorry.
yeah,
Came
sorry, I think something froze.
Okay, so for example, turnout wasn't really my main goal. My goal was like even if like two people stood there and held a poster there showing raising awareness of Palestine, it's really about the message getting across. People are only things there that can actually just help it grow. Believe that it's really important that um people understand that people un- okay, should I stop or
I think you're frozen.
okay, I'm gonna keep on going. Okay, so should I restart from like, could you ask me the question again?
Yeah, so pretty much my question was just like, were you worried about the turnout of the amount of people that would come and protest with you?
Not at all. Honestly, even if two people came to that protest, it would have spread the message because our point was to spread the message, and people coming in would only just support it more and more. Um, that's why the spot that we chose was right beside like the highway route. Like it just came from the highway. So our spot, our job, our goal was that people get the message, which is why we chose a roadside so that people have signs there and people just look at the signs as they're waiting for the traffic light and they go so they know in mind, oh, I went past these people that were talking about Palestine.
Right. No, definitely makes sense. At least raising awareness, that's definitely the most important part of the protest, which is honestly amazing. And I know, Masha, like you received news coverage from like the CHCH, that's a news channel here in Canada, at both the Palestine protest and also the Oakville vigil for the Afzal family. How I guess did they reach out to you, or how did you get their attention for this?
So because these issues are really right now really hot topics right now happening around us. So it wasn't something like surprising for the news to come in and and cover these things, especially local news covering these things in like a small community like Oakville, showing how like even a small town of Oakville has people has a Muslim community, and they're all acknowledging not even just the Muslim community, even like all community people like Aboriginal, Jewish,
Right.
Hindu, Christian, all coming in together and supporting the Muslim community. That is a huge indication to how much we're progressing and how much we will progress. So news, we had to contact them, but they also came in. A lot of other news channels came in that we figured out later that they came in. So it's more about like the momentum that made them cover those things, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I think something that might people might feel like it's a little shy of doing is reaching out to someone to ask them, "Hey, can you cover this and do this?" Because I don't know, I think that sometimes it's a weird thing for people to ask someone to do something like that, but it shows that like that's the way that you have to get things done, and especially having that news coverage showing Oakville, like you said, a small town having making change and having these vigils and protests are like extremely important to show people and to spread awareness and create change.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and what is like your future vision of youth against conflict? I know right now you're raising awareness on social medias, you're holding protests and things like that, but are there any projects, I guess, that you can talk about today and tell us about right now that you might be working on in the future?
My future vision is honestly, I want to use Youth Against Conflict only to help, continue m- having a sort of support for youth, and to have them be able to have a platform so that if they feel like they need to speak on something, they can come and reach out to me and be like, "Hey, I want to speak on this thing. Can I have this platform?" And my job is only to provide that platform, either it be for myself or for my community. And I really want to emphasize, like, speaking out and raising awareness is really really necessary if you want change. If you want people to change their mentalities, you need to educate them. You can't force them to change, which is
Mhm.
why platform for the youth to voice out their concerns and to create change in unity. So for now, that is my goal, and hopefully this little project maybe will, even if it like changes one person's mentality or perspective on a certain group or a certain belief, that's enough for my cause, honestly.
Mhm.
Alhamdulillah. And
Mhm.
with the help of Allah, inshallah, will grow.
Inshallah, definitely. And I know like you mentioned we a couple times, so I was just wondering, at Youth Against Conflict, is there a team of people that you have with you that is helping you out with this, or is it just you and like a co-founder, maybe anything like that?
So this was found by me and a group of friends.
Mhm.
For now, I'm currently running the account and running like all the incentives alongside with my dad as my mentor. But
Right.
inshallah, with the summer coming, we are going to grow and we're going to think more seriously on how we're going to coordinate things and work things out, especially with COVID on the hand. But
Mhm.
yes, we do have plans, inshallah. We'll see.
Inshallah, yeah. And how do you think COVID affects? I know you started Youth Against Conflict during COVID, but how do you think COVID affects Youth Against Conflict, whether that's like in a negative way or in a positive way?
So people, I believe that in terms of education, people were stuck in their homes, right? And they had nothing to do, and they were forced to watch, like, for example, their friends' Instagram stories in which they're reposting like issues going on in the world. And I think that really, really like did a lot, because now people got more educated while sitting down inside their homes in quarantine, and which is why things like Black Lives Matter or like the indigenous like problems that are right now happen arising, like those mass graves that are being found, they're getting more attention, the attention that they deserve, compared to probably in normal times, and probably people would be so busy in their own lives they wouldn't really care about these things. Now they have to care because they have nothing else to do. And I think that's really really amazing about COVID, the fact that it's bringing people together, and we can use this to um further broaden people's perspectives on topics and issues that are probably important to us, and now that will be important to them. And I think that's why Youth Against Conflict was probably what probably did um gain a lot of what do you call it? Gain a lot of,
Audience, yeah.
yeah, audience, yes.
No, definitely. Like you're right. I think more people are spending time at home, but also like I think the difference between last year, but or not last year, but before COVID and now, the amount of activism and how every single person is actually speaking up about change for all different issues has changed so much. Like, I don't remember my friends posting about different issues and things like that, but now that's a thing. Now it's become more of a part of the conversation, and so like it's kind of crazy how COVID has changed that. So there's good coming out of the bad. So we hope that that also continues. And
Inshallah. That's perfect. Exactly.
yeah, and if the last question I ask any every guest is that if you could give any piece of advice to teens or youth who want to be involved in activism, what would it be?
Honestly, all you need to do is not even you don't even need to grab like a mic or something. You just need to go out and speak out for yourself. You need to stop being shy. You need to stop caring what others think because it's honestly just an ongoing toxic chain. And when you realize that it's just like the normal pattern and you need to like be someone that needs to shine through out of it, it will be easier for you to go voice out your concerns and your problems because then people will listen. What you're thinking is what everyone is thinking. When you start thinking different, everyone will be inspired by you and maybe they'll start thinking different just like you did, just with that one little action. So go make that change. Don't be afraid of what other people will think and always keep your mind open. Always have an open mind, sorry. Always have an
Yeah,
open mind because education really that's the only thing like you can like actually hold on to without gaining or losing anything. It's always there. That's always something that's going to help you, not destroy you, which is why those are probably my advice. That's probably my advice.
yeah. I mean, that's amazing. Like, especially keeping an open mind is so important. I think, like, yes, stand up for yourself, but also having an open mind of seeing the other points of view and perspectives, obviously to an extent, but seeing the other points of views and perspectives is also important if because you're going to be educating yourself as an activist also. So that's extremely important to keep in mind.
Exactly.
Yeah, so jazakallah so much, Sister Sidra, for joining me today. Where can everyone find you and Youth Against Conflict?
Yeah, so we for now we have an Instagram account, Youth Against Conflict. It also in the bio has my Instagram if you need it, Sidra Anjum. We will create Facebook soon. We have a Twitter account. It's not that active, but if you are a Twitter fan, you can go to that too. But yes, Instagram is probably the best one that you've got for now.
Okay, perfect. Inshallah, we'll leave the link in the description box down below along with SunnahCamp links. And inshallah, we will see you guys all next Thursday. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.